Hello and welcome to Murphy's Garden, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful sunny day. It's very, very cold. I've got hundreds of layers on, I can hardly move, but it's just beautiful and the garden's looking stunning. So I thought it would be quite nice to do a winter tour, just have a little wander around the garden, let you have a look at what's going on, perhaps talk about some of the jobs that we've got to do, but really just focus on what it's looking like now, not getting too bogged down with we have always got lots to do, but just enjoy it in the moment, in the present. You can just see the geese going overhead. Lovely blue clear skies. So we'll begin our tour here in the Quadrant Garden. Everything's looking dead, all the herbaceous perennials are in their dead form, but I still think they look lovely. I quite like them. I used to cut everything back. I used to always be in quite a hurry to get everything cut back for the winter and get everything tidy. I've learned to be much more relaxed, and it works much better. And the reason being is that when you cut things back in the autumn, everything's very green, the stems are very green, and that's much harder on your hands to do. Whereas when everything's broken and brittle, it just snaps off as easy as can be, and it's very quick to do and much easier, and it goes straight on the compost heap, and it just breaks down much faster. So I've learned over the years to be a little bit more relaxed and to stop worrying so much about all the things you've got to do, and just enjoy it and just enjoy things as they stand at the moment. The miscanthus looks nice at the moment in this lovely low light, we try and just keep the leaves off the grass, but again the leaves have fallen and come off lots of the trees, and I'm not too bothered about that. I let them go into the borders and they just protect the plants a little bit when it's cold like this, protect the crown of the plant, and the worms will take the goodness down into the soil. So as long as the grass is kept fairly clear, that's the main thing. And here in the Sunken Garden, it's really cold. There's no sun reaching this part of the garden, so it's very chilly, but the Prunus lusitanica are still looking good. We did cut them, we were very late cutting them this year, but I think they're okay. They've survived that. So yeah, it's looking good. The only bit of the gardening that I have done, I did last weekend when it was milder. I did manage to weed this area here because it was full of weeds. It was an area that I just hadn't got to. The intention is to break a hole through that box hedging and make a little seat in there. So I thought it'd be nice just to get all that clear in the hope that we do get to that job fairly soon. But yeah, there's lots to do. It's easy to get carried away with looking at all the negatives, like for example the fence in the background has all gone very green and algae like again, which is really does get me down because I hate painting that fence, and I seem to be doing it every couple of years. It doesn't seem to last long at all. I guess it gets very wet on that side. It just doesn't get the sun, so it doesn't dry out the same as that fence does. And here in the woodland garden, I have actually also weeded this area too. I did do that as well, which you can't tell because obviously everything's covered with a little bit of snow. But I like to get the woodland garden, that's my first one that I like to tidy up, because that does look nice in the spring, ready for when the spring bulbs, and I see that a lot of them are pushing through. So we'll enjoy that in the few months to come. Here we've got the silver birches, and what I'd like to do is to just in the spring is just to scrub the bark, get all the green algae off, and really enjoy the white stems because they do look beautiful. And this part of the garden is just full of lots of shrubs and things, and I've weeded this area too. And I find I did do a little post on Instagram. We find lots of the salsify had seeded everywhere. There was quite a bit of it. Every year it does that. And salsify is a root vegetable, and it makes a fantastic soup. It's meant to taste like oysters. I don't think I've ever tried an oyster, so I couldn't say whether that's true or not. But it's absolutely lovely, and it makes the most delicious soup. So I do let it sort of self-seed a little bit around. Perhaps we should move it up to the vegetable patch because it might be it's a perennial vegetable, so it's quite good from that perspective. And this is our pond area. And the fish are underneath the frozen ice. I can see them moving. They're very stagnant, but they are moving and hopefully still alive. And then we'll just go over here. This area is the area that Olivia designed the cut flower garden for. So she's done all the plans on CAD. We kind of know what we want, and it's just a case of time and money really to implement those plans. So in the meantime, I've just covered this area with membrane. We cleared all the plants. There was lots of mess and stuff in here, but that's all gone. All the weeds have gone. Only thing that remains are the yew trees in here. There are some leftover yew hedging plants in here which I haven't really got anywhere to put those at the moment, so they can stay. But what I thought I'd try and do in the spring is to plant this part of the garden out with just some cut flowers and just see how we get on. We won't have the raised beds in, but we could just plant them directly in the soil and see how they perform. And this is our Hornbeam Walk, and it's just lovely at this time of year. In fact, hornbeam, the bleached hornbeam, is fantastic all times of the year. At this time of year particularly, it provides this kind of skeletal-like form and is full of birds. It's always full of birds. We do put feeders underneath the trees, and the birds are busy in and out. They love perching on it. They shelter in it. They just love it, and I love watching them from the kitchen window. So it's been a really good addition to this garden. And this is the long walk, and it's looking lovely. The box hedging gives it that structure all year round. So even though the nepeta and everything's gone over and all the herbaceous things are dead, we've still got that structure in the form of the box hedging and the yew hedging. The osmanthus, some of you asked how's the osmanthus doing, that we planted last year, and it's doing very well. I think it gets a bit of protection behind this hedge. It's a nice little position for it because they can suffer a little bit from high winds and if it gets too cold, but it's tucked here behind the hedge, and I think it's doing quite well. Underneath it, the erigeron that we planted, I've just left that, I haven't cut it back yet. It should survive, hopefully, over the winter. Having that extra foliage on it should give it a bit of protection, but when the weather warms up, I will cut it back and it will re-sprout again, and it's brilliant because I don't have the hassle of having to grow more and do it all again. Hopefully it should survive. And we're now here in the parterre, and again, this has good structure all year round because of the hedging as well. The roses obviously are no longer in flower, and I have given them a light prune. I will do a little bit more in the spring. These are the Desdemona David Austin roses. And also what I've done just in one of the quadrants, because I didn't get to do the other three, but we did do the video on strolch. Strolch is a substance that's used for just mulching an area, and I found it to be really good. I did it about sort of 18 months, 2 years ago, and it's just starting to break down a little bit now and it needs topping up. So I started with this area, and I've just put more manure, lots and lots of manure down on that area, and then done it with the strolch, but I ran out of manure, so I needed to get some more manure before I do the other three quadrants, but I definitely will do that again. I find strolch to be very beneficial because it's meant that I haven't had to weed, and I used to have to weed this area all the time. So it's from a labour saving point of view, it's been really excellent, and I find that it lasted for almost 2 years, so that's really good. And here you just see in the background the shed. So on Instagram I posted a picture of the shed because what happened, went in to get something the other day after we'd had lots of heavy rain, and everything inside it was sopping wet, and the roof had a leak on it. You'll see Alistair in the background, but he's just in the process of fixing it. But when he came to remove the roof, the covering on the roof, he found that it had gone through to the wood, and in fact most of the wood was rotten as well. So he's taken the opportunity to replace the entire roof. So it's ended up being quite a big job. It's taken quite a while, but he's doing it very thoroughly so that hopefully we won't have to revisit this again. It was never, the people that put it up didn't do a great job in the first instance, so he's doing it himself to make sure it's done properly this time, and hopefully we'll get another sort of 10 years out of it. So they just covered with tarpaulin overnight just in case we had any snow or rain, and so I'll give him a hand with that a bit later. And here we are in the long borders, and you will have seen the videos that we did on the rill. So the rill hasn't moved on, it's still as we finished it last in the autumn when we dug out the hole. So this is going to be a sort of long project of just carrying on with this work. It may not be done this year, but it's just about progressing the job. It was something that we kind of pushed the job on a bit because we knew we'd have all these spoils of the soil, and if we had to get rid of them, that would have cost us money. So it seemed sensible to push this job on, do it perhaps a bit sooner than we had intended, just so we could then utilise the spoils on this other area. So the rill is cut out, but we've got the cost of buying the stones, the cost of buying the pond liner and the pump and all of those things. So we just have to, this garden is just about progressing, chipping away at things as and when we have the time and the money to do so. So as funds allow, we'll push on with the next part of this project. But in the meantime, we have got the little summer house that we want to install up the top, so we can be getting on with that. And also we've done a bit of work on these borders and perhaps want to do a little bit more in the spring, just to ensure that we get a good performance from all the perennials that are in the borders. And just coming off the parterre, this is the seating area. So the seating area is looking a bit sad because it just gets covered up. The seats and everything get covered up at this time of year, and the barbecue and everything. So not much activity, not much going on here, but this is an area that we thoroughly enjoy using when the weather warms up. So we look forward to those days ahead. And finally, we're in this new area that we've been working on in the last few weeks. We have put all the trees in. I'm still releasing the videos. We've got more trees videos to release. We've done 2 of the videos and the third one about to go out. And I'm just doing a video on every tree that we plant because I want to know every detail there is about each of the trees. I'm learning so much doing the videos, and I hope if you're interested in specific trees, you can look at those and learn along with me. And then this area is going to be evolving over the next few months, the next few years. This will keep evolving. We've got lots to do, but it was really important just to get the trees in, because obviously trees take a long time to grow. So we want them to establish while we're busy doing all the other jobs in the rest of the garden. These can be growing on, and then as the time comes, and we will be enjoying this garden more and more as they develop. So there's always lots to do. You can only do so much at a time. We do everything really ourselves. So we're limited with time and finances and everything, so we just do what we can and chip away at things every year. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what we do, don't forget to like and subscribe, and join us in the next video. Bye for now.